What is up? What is up? What is going on, you guys? Welcome to another call on Tyrone. I know this is a late one. This is a one y'all weren't expecting. Didn't even put no tweets out about the show. Just came straight on air. How you guys doing? Got No on, got Vlad on. How you guys doing?
It's rather early for me. So
No, you're on the West Coast. So, that's work for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Everybody, we haven't had a show. I haven't had a show in a minute. Just trying to really set stuff up and get stuff ready for this draft. But first draft show on FILA is tonight. This is our first draft show. I guess we'll start with the Pro Bowl. Even though I know most people didn't watch. I know I didn't watch. I know you guys said y'all didn't watch. It really has no entertainment value at this point. There's literally no tackling, no nothing. It's just two-hand touch with pads on. But there's other news involving the Pro Bowl outside of the Pro Bowl. And that's dealing with our lovely friends down there in the Bayou and a certain player by the name of Alvin Kamara. Decided he was going to be in an elevator and beat somebody up. So you guys' opinion on it? In my eyes, it was the dumbest thing he could have did. You could have handled that a different way. You could have got a cop. You could have went and got somebody else. You couldn't even let the other guy that was in your group handle it. But, you went and put your hands on somebody, and now you might be getting charged for assault. So for you guys, it's Vegas and all that, but what do you guys think about the whole situation? You go first, Vlad.
I mean, honestly, I think if he wanted to give away that kind of money, he could have just skipped the middleman and handed the guy a duffel bag full of money. You know what I mean? Because this dude just got paid. Like he was messed up. Like
yeah,
he didn't look good. So this is gonna cost Kamara a good little penny.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's gonna get a little bit of money. It's gonna be a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Every face is messed up for real.
This man got paid.
yeah, he just and then meanwhile Kamara, he just punched his ticket into a free jail cell.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Pun absolutely intended.
It was fun. I know. I got it. That was. He really did punch himself into a jail cell, which is hilarious to think about because if you're Alvin Kamara, why okay, I'm not gonna cuss. Why in the world would you decide? Oh, you're in my face. You keep coming in my face. I know you're a fan, but I'm not. I'm gonna let you keep talking. So you touch somebody in my group. They start punching them. They get into a physical altercation. I'm not gonna break it up. I'm just gonna punch them in the face too. I'm just gonna go ahead and just hop on in the fray. And we just gonna jump them in the middle, and literally in the middle of you in Vegas around cameras. There's cameras everywhere in Vegas, and you're just like, yeah, let me just go ahead and jump this dude. But yeah, but on to our next topic, Senior Bowl. This was a big event. We actually got some news from Terry about his evaluation process on the whole situation. This is like a good look for some guys. Some guys, this isn't, it gives you your last live rep. And we learned something about last year. Even though we took, like 5 or 6 players from the Senior Bowl last year, or like 4 or 5 or something like that, we weren't even there last year because I don't think Arthur or Terry were able to make it. And, so that shows you how much trust we have in the Senior Bowl as draft-wise. Because to not even be there and still get guys from it means you had to go and watch that film. You had to go and sit there and actually know what you wanted and you like what you saw on film. So now we get to see these guys on tape. We get to see these guys in person this year. We got some reports that we interviewed a couple of guys. We interviewed Malik Willis, of course. People went crazy about that. Interviewed the DN from Cincinnati. I don't know why his name's Majay Sanders. Interviewed, I think it was a couple more folks we interviewed. But going into it, this is the draft process at this point. This is the draft is starting. We got the Super Bowl next week, but This is draft time. This is draft. This is when you start getting the free agency and draft stuff. So
Favorite
getting to
part
the
of the
Senior
year.
Bowl, yeah, it's the favorite time. Most favorite. A lot of money gets thrown around in this time of year. So for you, guys, what are some names you guys, even if you didn't get to watch it, but some names you like saw and were like, yeah, we need to think about this guy.
You want to go
I'll
first,
let you
Noah?
go first. Yeah, one of y'all go first. It don't matter.
Yeah, Vlad, you can go first.
I like kid, like I was saying earlier off stream, Penning, the kid from the offensive tackle from Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning. He was just giving these he was one of the few offensive linemen at the Senior Bowl, just giving these defensive linemen just fits. Had a really nasty demeanor to him. Like the first time he's really got a chance to really like show people what he can do against these top end players, these nationally recognized players, and he didn't disappoint. So yeah, he was probably one of my favorite players there. Jeremiah Johnson, obviously, a guy that you could possibly look at as, the 8th overall pick for the Falcons, because, he was just unstoppable. At 260, was 6'5", 260, was playing out of his mind, showed good technique, good hand placement, good get off. Like he was good against the run. Like the dude was just a monster. And probably my last guy that I really watched, because I was really paying attention to the X guys, was Kingsley Eganbar, the defensive end from South Carolina. One of the guys that really, showed good get off. Was just a nightmare for these top end, linemen to really handle. So he could be another guy that we could really look at as like an outside linebacker / D end for Dean Pease's system.
Yeah. Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, I mean,
did you cut out? I think he cut out. I think Noah cut out. But I'll go ahead and go. I don't know what happened to Noah. He just got sucked into the abyss. Yeah, I don't know.
You back?
Nah, he left out. I mean, he came back. He didn't come back yet. But getting into the guys, I didn't get to really watch a lot, but seeing some one-on-ones I did see. I do like that kid from Cincinnati. I do like Sanders from Cincinnati. I like him. He's a smaller guy. He's more of a 3-4 DN. I'll put it like that. That's kind of sort of what he is. He's a 3-4 DN. Noah's back, y'all. He's a 3-4 DN, and you can tell he's a 3-4 DN by the way you look at a lot of, because he's a smaller guy. He's not a big guy. He's not he's a heavier guy, but he's not like a 6'6", DN that can get around the edges, but he's a skinnier guy. So I like him. I like his speed and being able to dip his shoulder. Think about DNs. They all have to learn that little shoulder dip. If you ever watch a DN practice and you see them running around a little hula hoop, or it won't be a little hula hoop, but a big hula hoop, and you be like, what are they doing just running around in circles? Just working on their shoulders dip. Just working around, getting around the edge. When you get around that edge, you got to lean in. You got to touch the grass, basically. And so in that circle, when you get in that little hoop and you run around in that circle, and they tell you reverse, you got to turn your body. And there's a lot of speed stuff involves a lot of ends. And he has that speed. It's another, like you said, Jeremiah Johnson has a lot of speed, which was really, he's really a different type of, he could be a steal at 8, but we just don't know. We don't know our values in players. Like, we've seen these players. We don't know the value we actually have in some of these players. So it gets into, who you want to look at. And then, of course, I have to shout out a Georgia player. I have to. Mr. Devontae Wyatt. He just came out in one-on-ones and just was beating old linemen left and right. And I mean, it's not even like his draft stock was really low, but for what he did to some of these old linemen that were higher ranked than him, and actually was just beating them one-on-one with speed and being able to use his strength with his speed.
Another guy
Yeah.
Another guy was Perion Winfrey. He was spanking these guys on the inside
Yeah.
too. This defensive lineman. He got 2
Those D
sacks during the
linemen had
game.
a lot. It was a lot of good D linemen.
Oh yeah.
This draft is so good deep wise. But I want to get into a running back from Florida. I don't know why is it not P. Run. It's
Did you have any
Damian
players
Pierce?
that stood out to you, Noah?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was trying to multitask because I wanted to. Yeah, I was trying to multitask because I wanted to look at the roster myself. Because, like I said, I didn't really watch the game per se, but I did hear a couple of names that really stood out. So maybe you guys can help me out with this. There was a few names that I heard about. You know, what you're saying with Damian Pierce, the running back from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I found him interesting. Do you guys hear anything about Max Mitchell, the right tackle out of Louisiana?
Where is he from? Let me go look.
But
Or
there was a lot of
maybe like Ed Ingram from LSU, the guard.
Yeah, I heard about. Yeah, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he was doing crazy. He was going crazy.
There's actually a lot of reports that the Falcons are really interested in Damian Pierce.
The way Damian Pierce runs, from seeing him at Florida, he runs really heavy. Now he's not big. Now he's not a big guy, but he has a way of being able to run big, and that's kind of sort of I don't know our vision at running back. I don't know if we want because we have a chance if we do trade Calvin to get another first and another second, whatever we go and get. We have a chance of getting more picks if we trade Calvin.
As far as if we do trade Calvin and get another first, like I've never been the type of the draft to take a running back in round one.
I'm not taking a running back in the first. Yeah,
it kind of makes my skin crawl to even take one in round two. To be honest with you, just because it's kind of like it's like out of every position on the field, like that's like the most like likely position to get hurt. It's like, do you really want your second rounder to get hurt? Like,
well, not to mention, it's also one of those positions where it's like, oh, hey, I'm just this piece away from becoming a serious playoff contender.
Yeah,
which I don't really think that we're there yet. But judging by the rest of the division, looks, we could get there without much of competition.
Yeah,
they're definitely giving us the hand.
We can definitely win the division at this point. I know we can win the division. And I think it's more of if you go and think about, okay, you go get a running back. Let's say, okay, we get 2 first rounders, we get 2 second rounders. That leaves open your 3rd through 7 to be whatever you really need, because you can fill in a lot of positions with that 4 spot. Where like those first 2, if you get 2 first rounders and you fill in 2 big needs, your 2 biggest needs really you can fill in, and then your second rounders are 2 of your mid levels, and then 3 through 6, you can fill in whatever you feel like is a need per se in the later days. So it's a way of we can move it to where it works, but we just don't know yet. I don't know what we do with Calvin. I don't know what we do with we're not getting rid of Grady. We're not getting rid of Dion. So you guys can. And it'll be at least a year or 2 before we get rid of any of those 2. So, and you can't move Matt. So you can't move the main 3. So you're gonna have to fill these spots in, and especially not knowing you're gonna need a second tight end. We all know that. We're gonna need a number 2 tight end because Lee Smith retired and Hayden Hurst is on the free agent block. He's an unrestricted free agent. Now we might go out and get him on us, and we can keep Hayden in Atlanta on on a contract that's not heavy.
A team friendly contract.
Yeah, it's a very team friendly contract. I don't know. It depends. It really depends on if you really want to trade down from 8. We said, look. I'm gonna go back to last year at 4. Everybody was like, we need to trade down from 4. We need to trade down from 4. It just depends on what we do. It depends on who it is.
The only player that I would turn down pretty much any offer for to trade out of 8 if he's there is Kyle Hamilton. That's just because this dude is, if you took away positional value, he's the best player in the draft, like regardless of position. He's basically the Kyle Pitts of this draft. Dude's a monster. Outside of that, If you could trade down, yeah, I'm always down to trade down. Like there's very, very few players I ever see in drafts that I'm just kind of like, no, I have to have that guy if he's there. So if, right offer comes along, I mean, like you were saying a minute ago, like I know everybody's like, not wanting to trade Grady or whatever, but like I'm gonna be honest with you, like if somebody was to come at me with enough, if they were to back up a dump truck to my house and dump enough picks, I mean, you got to take that, right? So I mean, like I'm I'm just saying, like there's enough there. Like you just are you willing to give it basically? And I don't think a lot of teams are. That's the thing, right? So yeah, I'm always down to trade down. Like if the price is right. Like I said, the only player I wouldn't trade out of if he's there is Kyle Hamilton. Other than that, everybody else is just so close that you could still get a player of equal caliber.
Yeah, the only thing that could really stop us from trading back would be Terry Fontenot, whatever he does in free agency, and then his philosophy with the best player available. Like, does that warrant a trade back if you're technically not getting the best player available when you're allowing other people to pick in front of you?
Yeah.
I guess it would just. I don't know if I would like as far as I would do it. I would like kind of rank players like okay, these players are like top 10 material. These players are the middle part of the first round, back half of the first round, and if none of the players that are what you consider to be a top 10 pick there, yeah, I can kind of see it trading back from there. I guess it's just kind of how they have their big board set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing with not telling us what their board was. Like they didn't tell us what they wanted to do. So, we don't know what's on their big board, what they really feel like is needed. So, that's what most you want from your team though, because you don't kind of sort of want people to know what you're doing. Now,
I want my GM to have a good poker face,
Yeah, that's Terry. I love Terry's poker.
Yeah,
face.
Terry's been a great GM so far.
His poker, and I love how people like try to call him and Arthur like fake tough guys, but like they really just don't care about y'all. They don't care about what the media says about them. Like, bro,
and that's true toughness right there.
Yeah, they just be sitting there like when you have your coach come out and say that Twitter's a toxic wasteland. That's when it's something different than what you really want. Like he's just not giving them what they want, and that's how people react. Would you take a second and a third for really? I want a first.
If you can't get a first, then yeah, second and third.
If I can't get a first, then the second and third.
You have to get a first for him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just
at his age and value, he's worth the first. He's worth the first. I know, but I mean, if you're not giving us a first and he doesn't want to be here, I need 2 seconds. Actually, I'll take 2 seconds. Actually, I'll take if it's a team with 2 seconds like us, I would take 2 seconds.
I would consider 2 seconds. Yeah, it's just I look at it like because there's a lot of reports that say that the actual league is super high on both Grady and obviously Grady, but Ridley too. A lot of teams think that he could still be a number one. So that tells me that it's not necessarily. I think it's more of an internal thing, is why Ridley wasn't playing, and he just kind of said mental. That's the more and more I'm looking into this, the more and more I'm thinking like he didn't really jive with Arthur Smith, so he was like, you know what, I'm sitting out. So I think the league probably knows that, and that's why they probably consider him a number one still. So we might. I mean, there's a good potential we could be walking away with two first and probably 2/3 with if we traded Ridley and Grady. Like our first and a third would be like the starting price for Grady. Like you have to come at me with something like at least that.
Yeah, it's at least the first and the third. Let's remember trading back also helps the cap and because of fixed rookie weight. That is still one of the weirdest things the NFL has ever done with fixed rookie weight scale. They do it in the NBA too, which is so stupid. Where if you're a high pick in the NBA, you get I think like a $10 million, that's something stupid, some crazy type amount of money. But the reason, I mean, we paid Kyle Pitts how much last year? At 4, was it $8 million a year? Or I mean, it might have been a little bit more. It was a little bit higher than $8 million a year.
Yeah, probably like 10, maybe 12.
Yeah, it was something like because I thought it was like a 4-year 35. Was it 4 years 35? The contract he signed. I'm gonna go look it up real quick. But you think about that, like even at 8, you're gonna have to pay some money towards 8. So I can understand why you say we can get down from it. I just think we have to look at it as, it was a 4-year, $32.9 million contract. So
it's it's one of the things. Like I'm never against trading down. Like I said, there's very few players I see in the draft, and like it's not necessarily even every draft that I see a player that I would be like, I gotta have that player. So like, yeah, I would be 100% down to trade down, and you turn it into another second.
Yeah,
and second, and probably another third, honestly.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are at pick 21. We traded my first rounder at 21. We get the 2021 21st draft pick. In return, we see the 2023 first round, the 2022 third round. Now that's that's a trade that can work. I can see it working. So we'll go from 8 to 21. Yeah, Tony, you're trying to make our draft night show a lot longer than it has to be.
The
thing about the draft night show long. If we got to be out here to pick 21, I'm gonna cry.
Now the thing about it though is if Pittsburgh's trading up, it's because Malik Willis is still on the board, and if they're trading up for a quarterback, that's I kind of look at that as like okay, well, you want some other player like a wide receiver or a lineman or something for that kind of a pick. Now, if you're talking about them trading up for a quarterback, you got to hit them with that quarterback tax too, which is going to be probably two first, a second, and a third, or something crazy like that. Like it's going to be real high.
Learn from Miami. Look what Miami did to San Francisco last year when they won the 4th pick. I mean, what was it? The 3rd pick? Yeah, it was the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
Look how much Miami got for the 3rd pick.
And then you can also take the example of what the Bears did with the Giants in order to get Justin Fields too. Then that jump from 20 to 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're still getting paid for that. They're reaping the benefits this year from that pick. So
because now they got pick 7.
Yeah. So it's what you want to. We won't get a first rounder from. We'll still get a second and general. Yeah. I don't know how the NFL how the league sees Calvin. I just don't understand how they see Calvin.
I know how the fans see him, but
yeah, I know how the fans see him. We need to say their corner or defensive line. I don't care, or trade up. I think we go. I can see you get a safety, a corner, or defensive lineman at 8. At 8, this is depends. I really just don't know our big board. If we can get somebody to match with AJ, which would be lovely. You can get somebody to help Grady Jarrett, which is lovely, or you can get somebody to help protect Matt, or really and truly this whole secondary. Now, I understand everybody saying we need to go get a safety, but we literally drafted Jalen Hawkins 2 years ago. We just drafted Richie Grant last year.
The only reason you would take a safety at number 8 is if Hamilton's on board. Anybody else, like I'm good with this safety class other than Hamilton. If Hamilton's there, you take him just because, not even necessarily because he's a safety. I mean, you can literally line Hamilton up at free safety, strong safety. You could put him at slot corner. You could put him, you could play him at a linebacker, you know what I mean? And have him, it's like.
He's a pony. How we like to call it is pony. That's what I called it in my high school. It's called pony. That was the guy that played literally every secondary position. Your pony was the one that played. He could play the free safety, the strong safety. He could come down and blitz. He can play the outside. It just depends, man. It just depends how you want to use him. And I don't think you can go say. I just think that what we drafted these last 2 years. Now, I don't know if we like Jalen Hawkins, but we know Jalen Hawkins was a good. He had. I think did he lead the team in picks this year? I think he did. And then you got Richie. We just drafted Richie last year, and we didn't get to see a lot of Richie, but we did. We are going to. We're probably going to see a lot more of him this year.
People are going to be surprised when they see Richie play this next season.
Dean Pease is praising Richie.
Yeah.
I think people haven't seen Richie. If you didn't see Richie at UCF, and see the impact he had on that team, then you probably, or in the Senior Bowl, you didn't really get to see, you didn't see how good he really was, but he actually is really good. That would give us a first round, 3 second rounders, 2 third rounders, a 4th and a 5th and a 6th, and we don't have a 7th round this year. Did they ever come out with our compensation picks list?
I think it was 1 pick for Alex Mack in the 6th round.
Yeah.
That's just what? We should have had at least 3 because we lost Neil too.
And KZ.
We lost Neil, we
Allen.
lost KZ. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. We got to nail this draft. We do.
I mean, that's really the goal for every draft, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to miss a single one if you can help it.
You help me, and it's hard. You got about I forgot how big the pool is, like 300, 400 players, and only so many amount of picks, and you hope you pick the right one. So, because of his issues, is the reason we won't get a first rounder for Ridley, but we get the second rounder for him because of the talent Ridley brings to the team. I
honestly think, like I said, the more and more I'm looking into the issues of Ridley, I'm thinking it's just that he just said that, so he would kind of sound like a douche if he was just like, I just don't like this coaching staff, I'm sitting out, So I'm thinking that's more along the lines of what's happening rather than him having any kind of mental issues. I think he just said that just to kind of save face, because the more you look into it, the more I'm just kind of like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but the more and more I look into it, the more and more I'm kind of skeptical about it.
Yeah. What do you say? I don't believe I am 1%, but getting a D lineman might be the fastest result because if any unit struggles in for overall is O line. Yeah, I mean, most because I always give when I do my breakdowns, which I will say y'all guys really need to come. If you are an O line fan and I start doing my O line breakdowns, you guys are really going to enjoy it. Because I give solid details. Like, I mean, I see it from my perspective. Like how I look, how I look at it as an actual lineman. I'm not gonna give you just BS from people that people that didn't play football don't know how to play O-line. So I'm not gonna give you that BS. I'm gonna actually come to you and tell you how I see this player and how he can be impacted. But it's a lot of different ways how O-linemen play. You got a lot of. I have 3. You have a bruiser, you have a technique guy, and you have a pass rusher. And your bruisers are your running blockers. Your technique guys are your ones that can do both, and then your pass blockers are the ones that are exceptional at pass blocking. So you have those 3 type of guys, and some O-lines just don't know how to gel because you could have 3 bruisers in the middle and 2 pass blockers, but your bruisers don't know how to contain the middle. And you get sacks up the middle.
What would be an actual really nice signing that a lot of people aren't really talking about is I could see Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot actually bringing in Ben Jones, the center from Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing about it is, especially a center, is that since he's very familiar with Arthur Smith and how he likes to call his plays, that could take the offense to another level, because now you have your center that's extremely comfortable with calling plays, and that's gonna, get your O line on the same page far better, because you got to realize that Hennessy was learning this offense still, so all the line calls or whatever that he was making was might have been kind of suspect because he wasn't familiar or comfortable with the system. But if you get a guy like Ben Jones in that's completely familiar with Arthur Smith's system, that could change your offensive line. Like, that could be a night and day change. Because we see what happens when we brought in like Alex Mack, that to run Shanahan's system, this could potentially be Arthur Smith's version of Alex Mack.
There's a guy. I mean, not there's a guy, but there's a way of running Arthur Smith's system. And the thing with the center is that the center has to be a zone reach blocker a lot of the time. Because we run a lot of inside zone, outside zone. It's really an outside zone, play action boot, stuff like that. But your center in any way has to get to the second level. Yeah. So if he doesn't get to the second level, then you're going to be struggling. And now we have 2 guys on this team. We have Dolman and we have Hennessy. Now, Hennessy, they're both great zone reach blockers, right? Great zone blockers. But the thing about it is they don't, in their own right, know what they're doing. I mean, it's really hard, but they don't really know what they're doing, and it's gonna take it's gonna see this offseason. If we don't get a veteran center, that's going to be the competition I'm looking for at camp. That's the only thing I want to see at camp. I'm okay with everything else, but that's the only thing I want to see at camp. But it's fair really to say that he doesn't like the coaching staff or plays being run like Dirk Cutter and those deep outs. I mean, you're a football player, bro. Coaching changes staff. Coaching staff change. So you have to get used to it, man.
How do you think Matt Ryan feels when he's got to change the whole system every other year?
Changes calls and everything. So yeah. So it's hard. I mean, you have to take that on the chin. If you don't like the play call, you stick it out till your contract's up. Or till you don't call. If it wasn't really a mental health issue and he came out and just said, if he would just say, I just don't want to play for this team no more, we could have traded him away for he could have pulled Odell and could have got traded a long time ago. But he didn't. He just didn't want to be here. No, he just, he said it was his mental health. And you can't deny that fact. Out of respect, you just can't say, no, you're lying. So
I mean, you can't really, but it's just I
I
really hope he wasn't just.
You can sense energies and see how it really feels. How can we use Michael Walker, Deion Jones, and Foye at the same time? No, I'll let you go first.
Well, take a look at what we just did. I mean, there's ways where you can have all three of them work together as complementary pieces of one another, and plus, if one of them gets hurt, you got the backup in order to compensate. Because whatever one can do, the other two can do almost just as good. Because athletically speaking, they're almost on the same wavelength. As far as like the knowledge of the playbook. I know Foye is probably in the lead at that, but it's not like they're any further behind with Debo and Walker. And we've already seen with the small sample size that Walker can give us that he can make some plays too. So I mean, there's not a whole lot that you can say anything negative about these guys. I mean, they make all the plays because they ain't got no choice. So yeah, it's really about what you can do in front of them in order to really lighten the load of the responsibilities that they have at the linebacker position. But I only got so much time in order to be on here. I'm probably going to be on here for maybe like 2 more minutes. So if you guys want to ask me anything else, then that'll be it. But maybe you can invite someone else on.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody has anything else for Noah. Put in the comments real quick.
Or if not, I mean, I got my show tomorrow, so you can just save your questions until then.
Go ahead and promote yourself before you leave.
What?
I said go ahead and promote yourself before you leave.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's mostly for like the West Coast audience, but if you guys want to tune in later on, I mean, you guys already know the deal. I've been doing this since like late August, so. We've been doing this, I'm trying to keep that measure of consistency.
Shoot Noah away. Come over there and support us. We all support each other. We all the same brand, man. We all care and appreciate for each other. Thank you, Noah, for coming on. Of course, I just need you to come on because I know you wanted to talk about the draft. I knew you was gonna. I had to get you on this show.
Well. I don't know about this time in particular consistently, but I'll be.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to expand my availability, as you can see. I got, I've had the opportunities of early in the morning to way late in the night, so I'll be good.
Yeah, we got till April, and we still haven't got to the combine yet. So
we haven't made the free agency.
Yeah, we haven't even got.
We don't even know who won the freaking Super Bowl, so it's like we got time.
We got a lot of time, man. We got a lot of time. I don't see. Markeith asked, "Would you trade Dion?"
The only reason would be for salary cap, but even then, that could be worked around. So, no, not really. Don't really need to anymore. I mean, I was almost on the same boat. On the same line of thinking, and then I had a conversation with Matt and Mike about it, and then he kind of like, oh, all right, well, yeah, we can work around it because we're definitely not in the worst situation when it comes to salary cap. So we've seen what we've worked with before, like the year before, we were even worse than what we are now. So you think about that, you think about Grady's contract, Matt Ryan's contract, that can all be worked around. So, and when it comes to the money, that's no concern. When it comes to the talent, we've already seen what he can do. I mean, if 130 tackles and you're second on the team, and that's considered a down year for you, that means you're pretty freaking good. So that's all I got to say on that. But yeah, I gotta catch you guys later. So, all right. Yeah.
Later, dude.
Going into I'm going to go to some of these comments. Just looking at some of them. He said Isaiah Oliver's rehab is going well from what I've heard. Well, we can't get anything from Arthur on that or Terry because of the fact they cannot give out information on free agents. So whatever you can hear from him and himself or his agents or people around him, but we can't get it from an actual source because of the pure fact of this man saying, because they already asked in the press conference and they both said they can't say anything on him.
He'll be back next year.
Yeah, he will. I think he's gonna be here. Let me see. Ben Jones stated his. What did he say? I said on the part that after the last game of 2020, Ben Jones told that he had 1 more year on his contract. After that, he let it come to Atlanta. I can see it, man. I mean,
a good center, especially a center that's familiar with your system, could like be a night and day change on your offensive line. So that could be a really big signing.
What's up, Alex?
What's up, dude?
What's good, y'all? What's good?
I want to get to. Actually, I was about to get to your question. Can someone tell me why we should trade the? Because you should. I think the only way why you would get rid of him is cap, but you can't get rid of his cap hit. Even if you do trade him, you're still going to have to probably play something on the dead cap. You can't trade his whole contract away. Nobody's going to pay that whole contract. I promise you, there's not a team in this world that's going to pay that whole contract.
And it's been restructured twice already, so you know.
Yeah. Let me see. Don't miss your opportunity to draft players. Hey, I think he said something about it. I don't remember the exact quote, but I think he said something about it, and to that extent, that he doesn't really, I don't know. It's kind of weird because everybody says Atlanta. It's been so many years since somebody from Georgia has been actually drafted by the Falcons. So everybody says it's like we don't never do it, but I think this regime probably will.
Yeah, I don't get.
I think that's the only. That's really the only thing why. Like it has to be because, and if I always go look at the pipelines difference between Terry compared to Thomas. Thomas used to get a lot of players from the West Coast. Terry got a lot of players from the East Coast on this draft. So I can see us getting a lot more, more like Michigan and more, any East Coast school like Big 10, probably some Big 12, SEC, ACC, those guys.
I always thought it was weird when people are like, draft this guy because he went to X and Y and Z school. It's like, who cares what school he went to? Can he play ball?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, that's kind of a thing that I think about when I'm scouting players. I kind of look at the school. The only reason why I look at the school is because sometimes they'll tell me like what school they're going to play, and that helps me measure what they're doing against competition, which also tells me how they're going to ball.
That's the only bearing on what school they went to. That, if you ask me, is like what kind of competition do they go against, essentially.
Right.
But even then, it's like, you get these friggin' like players that just come to the league and just light it up, that go to like, these no-name schools. So it's like, it's a good thing to look at, but it's not like you can't just be like, oh, he went to Georgia, so therefore, he's, the best thing since sliced bread. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why the Senior Bowl is so important.
Yeah, that is the main reason why the Senior Bowl is so important. And I don't know if anybody got to catch some of the HBCU combine, but that combine was really important for a lot of those kids. Because there's a lot of talent from HBCUs. Now, back in the day, of course, it kind of sort of died down, but like at a certain point, you had a lot of good players coming out of HBCU.
It's
So
what's like I was saying earlier, Trevor Penning, the offensive tackle from Northern Iowa, like he never got a chance to really play any of these like top tier talent from these schools, but at the Senior Bowl, he was like shutting these guys down left and right. I mean, he had some of these defensive linemen hated. Like this dude was just nasty, and I could see him coming to the league and being man. I'd love to have him on the Falcons as like a right tackle for us. That'd be so nice.
yeah,
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Trevor Penning as an ideal fit at guard, which I agree with. I think that his running, like his when he's in run blocking mode, you love to see it. Like he just comes at you. Like his athleticism is nice. But I have heard like he might be just more suited where he can just play more in the phone booth. Like he has decent athleticism, but I think he's more effective at guard. In my personal opinion.
I think honestly, yeah, like that probably is his lane. But if you're in a pinch, I could see him being kicked outside. Like he's got that versatility. Like he probably wouldn't necessarily want to start him there, but like, he could probably get you a couple games if you needed him to.
and that was my thing with Mayfield. I never wanted Mayfield to go out there and start it at tackle. Being at left guard. Because he came in as a right tackle, and you saw the struggles in his game when he got out there at left guard because he's not used to playing on the left side. And I don't blame him for he went to guard, bro. This year, O-line wise, you're gonna see a lot more competition.
I got a quick question about Mayfield. Honestly, how much do you think his play was affected by how Hennessy was calling plays since Hennessy was brand new to Arthur Smith's system?
That's the thing. The thing with those two, that's why that inside was kind of weird because you had a really good right guard, you had an amazing right guard in Lindstrom, but you got to think McGarry's on the outside, and you still had to worry about McGarry. And you still had to worry about Mayfield. There was a lot of plays where you saw a lot of twists and stunts, and Lindstrom held his own, but those two were getting killed because those two don't have communication. It's more of a communication thing on O-line. Like if I know if there's a twist or a stunt, you're supposed to call it. You're supposed to call it out loud. Like if you think there's gonna be a twist or something, you can call it before the snap, or you can call it when you snap it and you see it. You're supposed to be like twist, 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 or you say something, or you tap them to make sure they know somebody's coming.
So
if there's not communication, then that's a problem.
You think a player like if we do get like a Ben Jones in free agency, like you think just him being able to call, like being so comfortable with Arthur Smith's system to be able to call these plays like flawlessly could like elevate Mayfield?
It would elevate the whole line. If you had like it's the same thing when you think about when we brought in what's his name? When we brought in Alex Mack, the whole line got better. When you have a solid center, your O-line can be a little bit shaky, but it will never basically break. It can bend a lot, but it probably won't break because your center is the stronghold. As long as he can tell, if he can tell Mayfield, hey, it's a twist. And I know this team likes to twist and stunt, and I know how they like to do this and that. And if I call this call, I know I'm calling this for you, so look for it. And if I see this play, as long as it takes a lot of film study. It takes a lot of film study. It takes a lot of being on the field together. Like it takes a lot of all of that to get to that point of being, hey, let's go ahead and get this right. That's really what it is. It's like, hey, let's go ahead and get this right. And it takes a lot of off field. You gotta be cool with the guy you're next to. You can't that's your battle buddy. You can't be like, oh, I don't like him because he does this. I don't like that's your battle buddy. You have to. Thomas Mitchell is one of the worst GMs in NFL history since 2017. Yeah. 7 of 52 players. What's up, Knight? 7 of 52 players on the roster. Yeah. Ryan, Jared, Dion, Matthew, Davis, and Mike Davis. Yeah, I mean, you got 7 to 52, and we I don't even the 52 roster really we got like 20 free agents. How many? I know there's a whole bunch of free agents we have now. So you have to think about that at the same time. Like, make sure we have if we go and get free agents off this list, make sure that experience set. Because I think a thing that hurt us last year too was Mingo. I think a lot of people don't forget how important that Mingo trade was, that Mingo signing was, and how bad it was when we found out what happened. I think people understand because he was going to play DM. He probably would have been in Dante Fowler's spot, and you don't get that now because he's a kid. So it's stuff like that that really hurt us. Because he probably would have been a solid player, but you didn't bring him. Sacrifice would mean there's only so many moves you can make in 3 watts and get that. Probably trading something like Dion and even Jared. Those are possibilities. They're possibilities. I'm not gonna say they're not possibilities. They're possibilities, but it has to take some time. You have to take some time and figure out who it really is. Like okay, you take Dion away, you put Michael in, and then let's say production goes down. Then or Dion goes somewhere else. Just like what's the guy that's in Green Bay now? If you go, everybody was complaining. Oh, why
Devondre Campbell?
Yeah, Campbell. Why we let him go? Why we let him go? So if Dion goes and does the same thing, it'll be people doing the same thing. You're just gonna be repeating that cycle over and over again. So I say if you there's certain things you have to do to make it work, but I don't have to know. Oh, I didn't even see it. I didn't even know that. Thank you, ATM. Which is crazy, but we had already voided his contract. Yeah. Since 2011 is wild to not draft a Georgia player, and we've been good since 2011 and had great talent since 2011. But like we all say, the Mentrov was I don't know. I don't even know how to describe.
A lot of his connects were on the West Coast, like you said earlier. Like that's a big thing in who these GMs take is like the people they trust. Like what pipeline do the people they trust have? Are they more of on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, wherever it may be? And that just so happens to be where Thomas Dimitrov's pipeline was on the West Coast. That's why we drafted players like Tack from UCLA and McGarry and Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Well, Lindstrom was in Boston, but whatever.
But Matt came from Boston, so
yeah.
Yeah. What would you fix first, the O line or the D line? I'm going D line. Because I don't know. That's a hard one.
I would probably go. I probably, like I said, get like a Ben Jones in free agency, and then probably go probably D line heavy, and then maybe try to snag an offense, like a right tackle at like in that pick 3 range. Would be my ideal. Ideally, I would like to go defensive end, wide receiver, defensive end, because those first 3 picks, I would double dip. This defensive line, this defensive end, setup we have in Atlanta, just it ain't that basically. And then probably try to get an O tackle at the round 3, and then a running back in round 4. That's just me though.
I think we got to go running back this year. But I'm fixing D-line first. I think O-line. I think if we go into next year and the O-line is as bad as it was this year, that's when you really got to go with it. But if not, no. I don't. I think D-line is the most important part right now. So what's up, Easy? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm going D-line, man. We can't stop the one. We can't get to the passer. It's been a long time since we had a decent pass rusher here. Yeah, D-line all the way.
I think it's D-line. Alex, what you think? O-line or D-line?
I think it's D-line. I'm probably in the minority here that actually thinks that McGarry is fine right now. I think he's an average tackle. And I think that Hennessy is the weak spot because I like the guard that came in at the end of the season against the Saints. He played pretty decently, and I even think Hennessy could probably work out his deficiencies with time, because some of it's just communication, and I think some of it is more so just developing like more spatial awareness, because I think he's getting better at these bull rushes and stuff like that. So I have faith in the O-line.
The thing about McGarry is it's like, his run blocking like was never the issue. It's just like but you have to pass block that, and he was just getting eat up every time he went to a pass set. That was my issue with McGarry.
And that goes into my what I was saying, my O-line comparisons, which your bruisers and your pass pros and stuff like that. A lot of guys can be great at run blocking, but they can be horrible at pass blocking, and that's something that McGarry, it comes from technique. Now, my technique guys are the ones that can go from a pass block to a run block. Those are the Alex Dunk types, the Jeff Saturdays, the guys that are actually have been able to show you that I can blow somebody off the line, but when it comes to pass protection, I'm still elite. And that's kind of sort of what you want. That's really what you need with this team, especially in this offense. You need somebody that can run block and then get right back to the pass. That's just what you need. What do you think about Patterson? Should we bring him back? What would it take to bring? Patterson wants to be in Atlanta, so I don't think it would take a lot. I think it's going to take for him. I think it's really and truly just going to take us giving him a contract that he likes, something favorable for the team, but still good in his eyes. And I think that's really what he wants. As long as he's in a range where we feel good and he feels good, I don't have a problem. I think you bring him back though.
Yes, I agree. He actually one of the few who want to stay here. So why not bring him back?
He wants to stay here, so I can't be
Yeah,
mad.
he want to stay here. But as long as he don't take a big paycheck, I'm good. Like 6 million, I'm good.
What you think, Alex?
I mean, I like Cordero Patterson. I do. Because like I like the fact that you can use him at running back and to an extent tight end. But I don't really see much value really at the receiving game, unless like you're just gonna put linebackers on him, and I think that teams are starting to pick up on that. And then outside of that, I don't see him really doing much in the receiving game. I mean, unless like the dude that's guarding him is 5'9". But like I don't know. Like I think you just need depth, and Mad Mike kind of said it best. With these older players that are maybe a little bit more high cut, you have more risk for damage, and I think we could just use more of a rotation. So like guys like Taylor Beatty, the dude from Notre Dame, guys later in the draft could help out this team.
Yeah. If it comes down to it, do you think do you want to bring him back? And what do you think? I don't know if he's Vlad. You there?
Yeah. I didn't hear what you said, dude. Sorry.
I said, I'm saying, what do you think about Cordero? Do you think we bring him back?
Patterson's one of them. He's one of them players. It's a win-win regardless of what you decide to do, because it's like you bring him back on a team-friendly deal, then it's like, okay, well, cool. You got Patterson back, which we all know what he can do. But let's just say for argument's sake, let's say that the team doesn't bring him back and he walks. Then you got a nice comp pick coming your way. So it's like you can't really win or lose either way with Patterson, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think they're trading up? No, I don't think we trade up. I think if anything, we trade down. I don't think we trade up for Aiden Hutchinson, because you're gonna have to trade all the way up to 2.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trading up at all, unless you're going up to get like a generational quarterback. No, thank you.
Well, who would you trade first, Ridley, Grady, or Dion? Ridley.
Ridley.
Ridley doesn't be here. He doesn't want to be here. I can't keep him if he doesn't want to be here.
But we don't know what we're getting for Ridley though. We might
Yeah.
get like a second round at best.
I
For
would
him.
sit him that season. If the team's only going to give me a second, I'd be like, okay, well, you're just going to be sitting then. I'm not giving him up for no second rounder.
I mean, I think the best thing to do is like keep him. If he start the same thing next year, now you cut him, you trade. I don't care.
Yeah, if the best thing is to keep him to see if he wants to come back. But if he doesn't want to come back, then no.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier in the show, there's a lot of rumors out there that says a lot of teams are still really high on Ridley as far as him. So a first is definitely not out of the question. Either way, though, even if really decides to stay or play for the team, like I still think you need to take a receiver. People got to remember too, like Ridley is kind of up there in age.
Yeah. I see Treylon Burks in the Falcons jersey. The way as high as he's going, I don't know, man.
I see him in Falcons jersey.
I just don't know. I just don't know how if we get a receiver. I don't know. We're not going first round with a receiver at all with this team, so I just don't know.
I honestly think if Jeremiah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I honestly think if Jeremiah Johnson goes to the combine and just blows it up, I can pretty much cash that in because I think that'll be the pick personally.
I would enjoy it. I think he's good enough. He's good enough to be up there. We take one of our soon to be 3-round second round draft, Isaiah Spiller, and he start this day one as our running back. You still acquired as a tandem. Yeah. It just depends on how, man. It really depends on how you feel about this whole situation. I just don't know how you feel about how we feel about the running back. If we can still use him for why we brought him in. Yeah, we can still use him. I think we brought him here as a kick return and realized how good he was on offense. It was like, yeah, we need him on offense. I really think that's what it was. And play receiver only number 2 receiver. As long as we have another running back in the backfield, you don't have to play Cordell running back. And I just don't need Quadres to work with. And I don't think we're bringing back Mike Davis. We should bring back Mike Davis. Go ahead.
I mean, somebody say we sign Cordell Patterson and keep him receiver number 2. I don't agree with that. So that means also Gage will be number 1, right?
That's the thing. I mean,
yeah, but also Gage is not like 1,000-yard receiver, right? You see, also Gage as like a 1,000-yard receiver. Hell no. That's mean like your best receiver gonna be your tight end. I would not like that move.
Yeah. Like you said, it like that makes him. Yeah, he that definitely makes. Yeah, it makes him a number 1. Yeah, that doesn't make. I don't like that. I don't like how one wide receiver because he's gonna be a tight end. I understand he can play at wide receiver, but he has to be on that set, and that just isn't gonna look right. We already saw how Calvin performed in this offense, and that was I went to that Washington game. I was at that game, and I was just so mad at Calvin Ridley that whole game. Oh my God, I was just so mad at Calvin Ridley that whole game. To watch him in person do what he does and run backwards and run side to side, it just is annoying. It really is so annoying having to see that. Remember Trufant? That's what Trufant from Washington Huskies. Yeah. I agree with that. Have Russell Gage in the slot. George Pickens is a wide receiver where I don't know if people like because he's not gonna. People aren't gonna give him the first round pick because of the injury and stuff. It depends on like. If he's going to be a second round pick, he might go to the third round, but I know he'll be a second round pick. And it just depends on what you do with Pickens. Like it just depends on if he's sitting in the second round and you like, I need to go get him. Then you might just have to go get him. That's just how it is.
I mean, the best move we can make at wide receiver right now is to sign a veteran at wide receiver like Adam Thielen or Emmanuel Sanders. That's the only thing we can do right now, bro.
Yeah. And then you going to the tight ends, Greg Dortch, Jake Ferguson, and Charlie Coleman. So out of those three, yeah, I mean, we all know we know that these guys are all going to do something to that extent. I think the thing about it is you need a backup. You need somebody bigger. So if I'm picking somebody off this list, I'm picking Coleman, and I kind of sort of want him to be a blocking tight end. I understand he can run routes like that, but I want him to be a blocking tight end.
Yeah, I'm going. If you want like more of a blocking tight end, then Kohler definitely. If you want more of like that pass catching tight end, then like probably Jake Ferguson is like a good number 2.
Yeah. Draft our number 1 wide receiver with one of those 3 second rounders we'll have. Yeah. You can. That's why I say you can look at what's his name. You can look at George Pickens. You can look at. It's funny because Jahan Dotson was really high up there, and then his stock dropped, and I really don't know why, but he really might still be there. In the second round, he'd probably be a high second round if he doesn't go first round. So those. It's a couple of good receivers you can look at and be like, if you go and get your number 1, you can probably still get them in the second round. You said draft wide. You don't need no old wide receivers currently. What? Yeah. Well, let's go ahead, Brad. We already had talked about it. We're going. Tonight is the night. Scott Blair dropped his mock draft. Today actually, he dropped it today. And it is his first NFL mock draft. This is Scott Blair's first one. And we're gonna look at the picks he's had for some of these people. So first round pick was Evan Neal. Jacksonville's first number 1 pick in the draft was Evan Neal. His number 2 pick was Aiden Hutchinson.
Do you see Aiden Hutchinson at drop all the way to like 5 or like I don't know, man.
Out of edge position, yeah. The thing,
can you see it? Yeah.
My thing with Aiden is that people put that one game versus Georgia so far up higher than it could have been, and I think social media really inflated it because we made fun of it so bad. We made so much fun of him and of how bad he played versus Georgia that I think.
Yeah, he's not dropping, in my opinion.
I think we dropped him. A lot of people on social media dropped him because of that Georgia game. But I don't think he's actually going to – I don't think he's not going to talk about the top 5. Nowhere near. But I think it's just funny that how people are saying,
they said the same thing about Terrell.
Yeah. They said the same thing. It's a lot of people take bowl games a lot more serious than they do the whole season. Like that's the thing about what a lot of people do. Like, oh, he played horrible in his bowl game, and so yeah, and, this stuff like that. Number 3 was Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame. Number 4 was Kevon Thibodeau. I still don't like his player comparison. Every time I see Brian Raffle by his name, I'm just like, number 5 was Iki from NC State. Number 6 was Charles Cross, who is player comparison to Tristan Wirfs. And then Ojabo went 7 to New York. So that means for New York, they would have Ojabo and Azeez Ojulari. That's a crazy tandem to have. Back to back. 2 years back to back to have Azeez and then put Ojabo beside him. Yeah. Number 8, our lovely Falcons. Scott Blair has us taking Derek Stingley, the cornerback from LSU. Now, me and Vlad had this conversation. We're probably gonna have it again on here. I
got the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that Bucky Brooks?
No, this is a Bucky. This is out there. I didn't do Bucky's. Derek Stingley, you have so y'all can say this in this chat. Okay, Corey already said I'm cool off Derek Stingley, but in the chat, would you have rather had Sauce or would you have had Stingley? Because we know we and Vlad talked about this. Stingley had a really good, I think, freshman year, and then these last 2 years they haven't been so hot, but he's still up there. And then you bring up Sauce, who's been the best corner in college football for the last 2 years. So, I mean, if Vlad, you know you're gonna give your opinion on it, but like in the chat, if you're the Falcons and you have a toss up between Sauce and you have Stingley, who do you take?
I mean, honestly, if I had my choice, I'm taking Gardner personally from Cincinnati. If at number 8, he literally hasn't gave up a single touchdown his entire collegiate career. Like that I don't care what school you play for. That's impressive to me. That's just me though.
Yeah. So Josh, tell me why. Josh, you can either come on the show. I don't know if the link's still in the chat. You can come on the show and explain, or you can tell me in the chat why you was taking Derek Stingley over Sauce. No, I don't want to hear because he went to SEC school. That's the one excuse I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear he went to SEC school. I'm taking Sauce, but not at Justin Trenches. Giving up TDs, not again giving up no TDs your entire career. So yeah, it really is. That's really something. Who does that?
But
it's funny because like there's so many. I'm gonna let you guys answer in the chat. But let me go down the rest of this list. Denver's taking Kenny Pickett at 9. Sauce ends up going 10 to the Jets. Matt Corral ends up going to Washington, the Commanders. Actually, shout out the Commanders for the new name change. It really doesn't sound, Andrew Booth from Clemson goes 12. Treylon Burks. I just saw you say that, Scotty. Treylon Burks, but they have him going to Cleveland at 13. They have Tyler Linderbaum going 14 to Baltimore. Devin Lloyd from Utah, who is actually one of the guys I love Devin Lloyd's game. I actually got to watch a lot of Utah at the end of the season, watching the Pac-12 and watching I watched the first Oregon game, I watched the Pac-12 game, and then I ended up watching the Rose Bowl. I really like Devin Lloyd. But I still don't think he's better than Nakobe Dean. But it's kind of weird. Drake London. So the thing about why I say we can get a first for Ridley is because Philly has the 15th and the 16th pick, and they have the 19th pick. They can give up one of those picks, and they probably would get somebody. It just depends because they have Rieger and they have Devontae Smith. So it just depends. So Drake London goes 16 to the Eagles. 17, the Chargers select Trevor Penning, which Vlad was talking about. Garrett Wilson from Ohio State is going at 18 to the Saints. Carl Loftus dropped all the way to 19 on this list.
They hired their new head coach. They went from Matt Nagy.
It just depends. Yeah, the Eagles are really eating this draft. Like you said, the Eagles draft.
I'll tell you another corner that would be an amazing fit for a DP's system is Trent McDuffie out of Washington.
Yeah. But I want to talk about Carl Loftus dropping from being one of the top 10 picks all the way to 19 on this list. That's wild. Because, people really had him. I like the Carl Loftus, but I don't understand. It's a lot of hype behind it. And so that's the thing about it. It's like, what do you really want to do? Trayvon Walker goes 20 to Pittsburgh. and then 21 is Jordan Davis to me. If you're a Bulldogs fan, I just want you to know, I'm going to throw it all over my monitor when we do the draft show if Trayvon Walker and Jordan Davis go back to back, especially the Pittsburgh game. I am going to throw up across my all over everything if that happens. Like, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. I'm going to be sick to my stomach. Yeah, they got where'd they get this one from? It doesn't even say where they got it from. I know one of them is from. They got one from the Dolphins, and I think they got one from the Colts. Then they got one, unless it was that was a part of the Eagles. They got a whole bunch of trades. They got a whole bunch of things possible. Oh yeah, they did. I hope Atlanta gets James Cook. I think he's more of a third round pick. Then you have Chris Olave going to Las Vegas. You have Trent McDuffie going to Arizona. Kobe Dean going to Dallas. Which I don't.
Kobe Dean dropped that far. I don't think that's going to happen.
I want to look at this. Would you rather have Willie Gay or would you rather have Devin Bush in this NFL? I would rather have Devin Bush, but
Yeah, Devin Bush all day.
Yeah, that's the player. You have Kyler Gordon going to Buffalo, Kenyon Green going to Tennessee, which I like Kenyon Green. His comparison is Richie Incognito, and if y'all know some people, the whole bully. Richie Incognito is a beast. That man was a beast. No matter whatever you say off the field, but that boy was a beast on the field. I don't agree. Jahan Dotson going to Tampa Bay. Now Tampa Bay's in a weird situation because you can go ahead and get Malik Willis. You can go ahead and get Zappy. You can get Carson Strong, or you can rely on Mr. Kyle Trask, who I was begging for the Falcons to get.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After the Senior Bowl, I seriously doubt Malik Willis is gonna make it even close to Tampa Bay.
I think Malik Willis is going top 5. I think they're going to go top 5 on Malik Willis. And a lot of Detroit fans that are begging Malik Willis to come to Detroit. And that's another salary cap thing. But I think he's going to start over Jared Goff. I still think he'll start over Jared Goff.
I mean, for me, the biggest surprise of the draft is gonna be like all 3 quarterbacks gonna be taken in the first round. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, that and it's so funny because Daniel Jeremiah came out and was talking about it was gonna be 5 first round quarterback picks, which was
there ain't no way.
That was such
That's crazy.
Malik Willis is like literally in my opinion, Malik Willis is like the only quarterback that you could even make an argument for in round 1. Kenny Pickett's a second rounder, and that what's his name? I don't even remember his name.
Matt Corral.
Yeah, he's like a third rounder. That he was garbage.
They're giving him a lot of credit this year because what he did for Ole Miss, and then he has a pipeline at Ole Miss. He has a I'll put it like this. He has an Eli Manning pipeline at Ole Miss. He has a Manning family pipeline at Ole Miss. So he could go low key. I want Desmond Ridder to learn. See, so last year I was begging Atlanta to get Kyle Trask. And everybody was like, why do you want Kyle Trask? Why do you want Kyle Trask? I said, I want Kyle Trask to sit behind Matt Ryan. Right? And I said, I don't care if we get him in, like the 5th round, 6th round. I just want somebody to sit behind Matt Ryan. Now, Desmond Ridder is another guy. Only reason why I don't like Desmond Ridder to sit behind Matt Ryan is because of the pure fact I know Matt Ryan, I know Desmond Ridder is an RPO quarterback. And you're going to have to break his RPO ways. That's the thing about it. You're going to have to take that RPO away from him. and get him into a pro style. Working, yeah, I think they are too. Um, I think they are. I think they're gonna stick with Trask. Hopefully, he learned enough to sit behind Brady for a year, but I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I,
eh,
I was never a big fan of Trask, honestly. I could see Tampa Bay making something up, calling him like Trash Can or something like that down there.
yeah, if he's bad, they're gonna come up with something
They
for him.
gonna let him know
But yeah, but
because
I
they just
think
got finished playing with Brady.
it's so funny because you saw Kyle Pitts literally when he retired. Kyle Pitts quoted the tweet and said, "Kyle Trash, simple as that." And I was like, it's a little bit of, I know that's like a college bias thing, but if you like, Trash film wasn't bad, and I've watched a lot of Florida football. My mom's a Florida.
The thing about it though is like he's having to follow up Tom Brady though, so like
Yeah,
that he's in kind of like this like no winning situation because they're just gonna be like, well, he's not Tom Brady, so therefore he's bad, even if he
that,
isn't. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
What you mean is like he's not gonna live up to the hype, right?
no, you can't. That's the same thing with Jordan Love. I don't think Jordan Love is going to live up to the Aaron Rodgers hype. I don't think a lot of these when you're a young quarterback, like it's okay for Trevor Lawrence to go to Jacksonville because Jacksonville doesn't have a standard on the quarterback. Like it's a lot of places that don't have standards on quarterbacks, but you set a standard on a quarterback when you bring like the next quarterback that comes to Atlanta. If he's not as good as Matt Ryan, there's going to be people like, man, we could have found somebody better. You know, he's not even good as Matt or something like that. So you're gonna get stuff like that. So yeah, no. We take QB. Yeah, that's the one Mike likes. That's Mike's pick for quarterback. We get him in the fourth round. Yeah, I think you can get Zappy in the fourth round. So going into 28, Devontae Wyatt goes to Green Bay. That's 2 years in a row Green Bay would have drafted a Georgia player because they drafted his coach last year. Then you have Rainman from Central Michigan going to Miami. You have Jamison Williams because we all know Patrick Mahomes is another wide receiver out there with him. You get Jamison Williams going to Kansas City. You have Falile, is it Falile? And going to Cincinnati, which he's not a first round talent. He's really too heavy. He's 6'9", 380. He's not fast enough to be playing tackle, but you know we're gonna give him his credit. He's huge. And then 32, which is Detroit. We don't know this order, the bottom two yet, because we don't know because Detroit has the Rams pick and Cincinnati is at 31. But if the Rams win, Detroit to go up to 31 if they lose, and then Cincinnati will be 32. But Jacksonville, the safety from Michigan, was the last pick of the draft. My thing is for Scott, I haven't read a lot of Scott stuff. I read a lot of Scott stuff. I haven't read any of his mock draft before, but it wasn't a bad mock. I would give him credit because it wasn't a bad mock. I think I just don't like the Falcons pick a lot more, or I don't like the Jacoby Green pick. I don't think Devin Lloyd is better than Jacoby Green. Those are my only two wrongs about it. I think that's my only difference I don't like about it. But other than that, it was a pretty well made mock draft. What you think, Vlad?
I mean, other than a few players like N'Kobe Dean dropping, what's his name? The defensive end. You said his name a second ago. I think he'll go a little bit earlier than that. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty solid. I had a really big gripes about it.
Yeah, I think it was like I said, it was a fairly made mock draft.
I wouldn't have took Stingley at 8.
Yeah, I think that's my only thing is that I wouldn't have took Stingley at 8. I probably would have took Sauce or I would have took a D lineman.
Yeah, like you're saying. My Gardner's probably, like I said, my number one guy as far as corner this year. I just think he's like you're saying, I don't care if you play for first, whatever, Georgia, Alabama, Cincinnati, whatever. I mean, not giving up a single touchdown your entire collegiate career is just That's just another level.
But we're gonna go ahead and end the show there. I want to shout thank you, Easy, for coming on. Thank you, Vlad, of course, for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
I just gotta throw this picture up. I forgot I had this. I just had to throw this up. I'm sorry. I had to do this to all the Florida fans. I just forgot I had this in here. I got this picture in here. Let me move the banner so you can see the score. Oh man, this Vlad. This I gotta throw this one in here. Oh man, that was a fun college football season last year. But shout out Prize Picks. For 100% deposit match, use code FILA. Go on Prize Picks. They are the sponsor of this show. Y'all use that code. I know if you don't gamble, you don't have to. But if you do gamble and you're using DraftKings and all those other websites, come over to Prize Picks. I promise you, the easiest one you can use. It's one where all it is picking points and rebounds and assist numbers. Just picking numbers, man. If you think a player gonna score 30 and they got it on there, it's 27. You can press the over. You can do the under. It's a lot of prop bets, but it promises it's the easy one you can use. You don't have to be using all these other websites. Just come on over to Prize Picks. You sign up and ask for a promo code. Use code FILA. That's FILA, code FILA. And you will get 100% deposit match on all of your whole up to, I think it's up to 200 or 500, something like that. But you will get a 100% deposit. Like I said, Vlad, thank you for coming on, guys. Man, Georgia won the national championship this year. I mean, there's nothing that can hurt me at this point. Long as this draft is well. A lot of my homer bias is gonna come out during my draft show because I hate to see my Georgia players go to bad teams. But we'll get to see, we'll get to fight. Y'all will be starting to see my old. Yeah, man, gotta run it back. We got this man at quarterback. Y'all know who that is. You gonna laugh, but we got that man at quarterback. But thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You got anything else, Vlad?
Nah, I'm good, dude. Appreciate you having me.
All right, y'all. Peace.